Hello, 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 and welcome to this Xbox Life episode number 427. Don't drink the Draino in honor of me. Draino85, also known as Preston. Joining us tonight is Mark, known as Wingman 709. Go ahead.
Hey everybody, what's up?
And of course, Brun, also known as BJ Swick 33.
Good evening, everybody. And welcome, Draino. Everybody, Draino 85 is my replacement. I'm retiring after 427. So we are
No, I
getting
think
him.
he's replacing Rob.
Oh, okay.
He's already said more in this episode than Rob does in probably the last five.
That was my goal all along. So, all right, have a good night, guys. See ya.
That's funny. So,
Well,
yes, 427.
uh,
Don't drink Draino. For anybody who was not aware that Draino is poisonous. But it does keep your drains clean and flowing nicely.
Yes, it does, very much so. Gets all the clogs out. I wanted to say before we got started is I just wanted to tell you guys thank you for putting on a podcast every week. I enjoy supporting the show, and I'm happy to be here. Was really looking forward to talking with you guys this week. I know it's not easy getting three adults together once a week, and logistically that can possibly be a nightmare. So I just wanted to say I appreciate what you guys do, and look forward to this Xbox Life every week. It's something I listen to mostly on the audio side while I'm walking my dog during the week. But thank you very much for what you guys do. I enjoy the show a lot.
Thanks. Well, and thanks for your support. We appreciate it. So.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's important to throw your support behind things that you enjoy, and finding a semi-mature audience to listen to a show that's family friendly and is important to me. So a lot of times you'll listen to gaming shows and find that they are a little on the rough side, if you will. So I enjoy listening to you guys, most definitely. But thanks for having me again.
Yeah. So when you're walking your dog and you have your headphones in, you're walking by people, does everybody think your dog's name is Darn it, Brun, you're wrong. Darn it, Brun, you're wrong. Because that's all you're
Close. It's
yelling
it's
while
it's
you're.
usually darn it, Mark, you're wrong. Darn it, no.
No, no, that's not it.
Oh yeah, but there
Like,
are.
oh hey, where'd Preston go? He just dropped off the call.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
episode.
it's more like, why is that guy talking to himself over there? That's what I think a lot of people have a tendency to say towards me. So, but yeah, um, and a lot of people always wonder why I have the gamer tag Draino, and it's kind of an interesting story. Back in college, the back when Halo 2 was really big, and right before, I never played, competitively in leagues or anything, but competitively among friends, we used to have a clan that we would get together 2, 3 nights a week, and my clan was called Housekeeping. And so everybody had a cleaner, and we had a Mr. Clean, we had Ajax, we had and I was Drano, of course. And of course, Drano was taken, so you always have to throw a couple numbers behind the gamer tag you want in order to get it. But that's how I came up with Drano, and it has stuck ever since. Long back in Halo 2 days on the original Xbox. So we were never very good, but we like to pretend we were for a while there, and mostly amongst college mates we'd play, and but most of the time I spent respawning while the other people played. But it was a lot of fun.
You were the human bullet shield, right?
Yeah,
In
exactly.
Halo, that's what I play in Halo.
Yeah, I was the assault guy for sure. The one that you run out in the middle and find out where they're shooting you from for the other teammates.
Yeah.
That's also the way I like to play Battlefield, just so you know.
Oh, well, see, in Battlefield, I'm actually not the bullet sponge in Battlefield. It's the one
Yeah,
game I can actually say I'm okay at. I wouldn't say that I'm awesome or anything like that, but I am okay.
yeah, I'm working on it. I'm getting there. It's more having fun for me at this point, but I'm working there. So
Well, in the show, we're gonna be chatting with you, asking you a bunch of questions. You can fill us in if you've already answered that. Where did your gamer tag come from? But
thank you.
before we get to that, uh, we are live every Sunday on twitch.tv/this Xbox Life. We usually start on Sundays around 10 p.m. We were running a little behind this week, getting Drano on and making sure we have all our ducks in a row for the show. Um, But that's it for that. And we typically start with what we've been playing. And I know this is probably going to suck up some time because I know what we've been playing. We'll find out what Draino's been playing. And I guess some stuff, I guess, to talk about on what I've been playing. So, but Draino, do you want to go first?
Sure, sure. So for me, it's been 3 games, and I was actually sick last weekend, so I had some time to put into these 3 games. I usually don't get a whole lot of time to have those marathon gaming sessions, so it was a lot of fun for me. Of course, Battlefield 1. Mark, I know you have your opinions, but I've enjoyed the game tremendously. I'm trying to get to, my goal was to get to the rank 50 before the DLC drops, which I believe is in 2 days, because I'm really looking forward to playing through that. I have the premium pass, so. But Battlefield 1, and I got a friend of mine into the game as well, so it's been fun teaming up with him and playing some squad stuff. And then Dishonored 2, I am close to the end of that game. I've been playing a ghost run, which is seems to take a lot longer when you play through those missions. So a lot of saves and reloads for sure. And then, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. The mechanics have been enjoyable. They've got some cool level design structures, and um, then the third and final game, which I'm sure we will talk about in to some extent, is Ghost Recon, Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, and have enjoyed that one to some extent as well. It's been kind of a love-hate relationship for me for a little while, the few hours that I've put into it. But yeah, those are the 3 games, and I've been able to put quite a bit of time into them in the last week or so. So it's been a lot of fun doing those.
I was sitting there thinking, I was like, oh man, that'd probably be a good. I was like, be level 50 before the DLC drops on Tuesday. I'm like, I wonder what rank I am because I don't even know what I am, and I happen to be 52. So I was like,
Oh,
eh.
okay. Yeah,
So
I feel like that was a good goal to meet, is the halfway mark with your
halfway.
rank level. Yeah, for the before the first DLC drops. So, yeah, but I'm 49 right now. I still have a couple days. I'm like halfway through 49. Everybody, no reason to worry. I promise I'll get there. For all the viewers out there, 50. It's coming.
Well, if you're playing tomorrow,
Yeah.
I'll jump on and play and help you get to
Oh, cool.
work with
Yeah,
you to get to 50.
I'll definitely be on tomorrow night. That was my plan all along. So
Okay, cool.
cool.
I have
Looking forward to
44
it.
hours in that game.
Yeah, I'm up there too. I've probably got somewhere in the neighborhood of, high 30s, mid 40s, somewhere in there. And I can honestly say, not to get too deep into Battlefield, but I can honestly say that the maps that they have out right now, I find myself starting to become a little bored with, because we've played them so many times over and over. But that's why I think the new DLC will get me back into that game, playing pretty hardcore for a while.
Yeah. Cool.
But yeah, that's it. So.
All right. Well, Mark, if you don't mind, I'll go before you go because I know you'll have a lot more to talk about.
Fine.
So,
Save the best for last.
yeah. So I mean, with mine, I've only played Ghost Recon Wildlands. I've had very little time to play. Um, when you're trying to buy a house, trying to sell a house, and have a side project for a mobile application that I'm having all sorts of trouble with right now. It leaves little time for gaming. So I did play probably 3 hours yesterday, and I only have 5 hours in the game total, because I was coding for like 9 hours yesterday. So it's been a long a long weekend at the computer, but the game just like from the beta and what I've played here is like I like the game. I like Ghost Recon games. I think they're fun. Last night I did get to play a lot with other individuals and other people. I do find myself kind of liking playing with the computer or with those guys because I can do the sync shot. And before I even step foot in an area, like everybody's gone. Like I don't even walk in and run and gun that much, but I find there's more run and gun when you're with other individuals. And I'm looking forward to playing on like a very severe high level with other people because once a person makes a mistake, you pretty much might as well just kiss everybody goodbye. Like, I want to get to that point because I think that's when the fun part will start with that game. Um, because anybody who listens to the show know, like both Mark and I have said it for sure. With Ghost Recon, we've always wanted that co-op game that we got in Graw 2, where you would do like the hour defend, or you had to go and complete this mission, and you would just replay those missions over and over and over, and they were hard. And just having a game that was strictly those and DLC that was those, that's what I was hoping Wildlands was going to be. It's not that, and it's still fun. I want to say I like it. I'm kind of bummed it's not as much of it's a massive open world. Let's just say it's huge, because Mark and I were kind of talking about this. This game is not small at all. I mean, you're talking about you definitely getting some gameplay out of this game for your money. And if anybody wants to complain about that, then I don't know what you're complaining about.
Yeah.
But the one thing is I do find myself already, just in the 5 hours that I've played, it's just wash, rinse, and repeat. I don't know how much more of that everybody knows. Like, I don't finish games. I mean, that much. I mean, come on. But I will say, if I'm already feeling that now, 5 hours in, I wonder what it's going to be. Because you're talking this game's probably 100-hour plus game.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think IGN, I believe the person that reviewed it, I think he said it took him 42 hours to complete the campaign, but I believe that was just doing like straight through trying to do story and not doing all the side. That was not doing. Excuse me, that's not doing everything.
Right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I knew you're pushing up there in the 90 to 100, probably 90 to 100, and it's just like, how much of that can you do? But I think there's that potential to get what I want. I wanted like all that time from a Grawl game, because when we first saw this, it was just like, hey, you have to storm this building and you can do it any way you want to do it. And what I was picturing was something like, okay, you have these little smaller missions that you could go and do and replay. It's not that way, but that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. The game is what the game is. But I am having fun with it. I'm just a little worried on that wash, rinse, and repeat feeling that I'm getting already. But other than that, it seems like they've tightened up the driving a little bit. Mark, do you feel that way?
No.
You don't feel that I felt like they've maybe adjusted a little bit. The flying is still not very good. But the driving wise, like, I wasn't as, all over the place, if you know what I mean.
I think we're just getting used to it. I think
okay.
I think I think the brain is made a switch and says, okay, I'm always driving on ice.
Okay.
And I think you just have adjusted to, I'm always driving on ice, even though I'm in the middle of the desert, pretend I'm driving on ice. And you slide, and I found the vehicles to be a little easier to drive, just because I'm expecting to slide around everything. So
and the other thing I'm looking forward to is getting a bigger, like a more skillful soldier, and looking forward to the harder levels. I think once it gets to the harder levels, I'll be okay, because that's the bad part about their alpha, and the reason why I didn't play their beta. I think that's why I kind of felt a little, not bored, a little bored, was because, like, well, I've already done all this. I did this already. I already played this 5 hours worth, and so now that I'm getting in some different things, I think that's what will be fun. And I haven't really played with too much. I played with Artemis, and played with him yesterday. So, but that's mainly who I was, playing with for those 3 hours. But that's what I'm thinking. I don't want to. I mean, like I said, I'm having fun with the game. There's nothing wrong with it. But that's my one thought about it coming out of it. So, Mark, what do you think? You have a lot more time in it than I do.
Yeah. Well, first of all, before I forget, I want to just say to anyone this past week that has shot me out party invites or game invites for Wildlands, I was not ignoring you. I was actually getting quite a few. I was already in a group with people right in the middle of doing missions, and it's really hard to, when you're with other people, you can't pause the game. You can go to your map and go to your skills, but you're still going to get shot
Yeah,
while you're doing it.
Don't
So,
do that while you're flying either.
yeah, yeah. So it's not that I was ignoring anyone. So please understand that I was just in the middle of a game already with the full crew. So, um, but okay. So with that said, um, I'm I'm like 26 hours of gameplay so far. I'm a level 21. Yes, I've been playing like every night. I've been running with the same people. For the most part, I have been doing some stuff just solo, because uh, the frustrating part, I think, with the group is everybody wants to go and do their own thing.
Right.
For the most part, the group I was with has pretty much done pretty well of working together, but they kind of want to just hit, it's like someone's already played, so they don't want to replay this mission, and they're going to run over here while two or three people are trying to do the mission, and then it's like they're dead, and then the other guy's over trying to collect the part that everybody else needs as well, but they don't want to wait, and it's just like, man, it just gets frustrating, and then it breaks down, and then everybody's going to do their own thing. Had that happen last night, and I was like, forget this, dude. I'm just gonna play this game by myself. So that was a little frustrating. But if you get in this group I played with is good, and it's fun when we're working together. But I do feel a lot like you do, Brun. It's very wash, rinse, repeat. The only thing that stands out are the actual story missions. But like when I'm running with a bunch of other people, I'm not even watching any of the cutscenes. I have no idea about the story because the story really doesn't matter. Um, you are going to kill the main guy. You're going to kill every boss up the food chain, and there's what, 27, I think we said.
There's a lot.
Yep. Um, so you got like 27 people to kill. So that's what you're. Does it matter what their story is? No, you know. Um, so I'm skipping all those, just playing. I'm enjoying the game, but I'm at that part where it's kind of like, am I going to finish this game? I'm actually can talk. I've thought that already. Am I going to finish this? This game is going to take a ridiculous amount of time to complete, which is good, but also I think is bad at some point. I'm wondering if there's too much to it, which is weird because usually people complain, "Oh, that should have been in the game. They're just trying to make money," I mean, but 27 bosses, that's a long time, and in each one you take out has a minimum of probably 5 story missions that you need to do. Some are even more than that. So if you're looking at 27 bosses at a minimum of 5 missions each, do the math. And you're not gonna complete every story mission the first time you do it. You are going to do several of those over and over again. You're going to need to go collect your weapon upgrades, your skill points. You're going to need to go after all those side missions are very repetitive, but you have to do them because you got to get the resources so that you can use the skill points to level up your character. So you can't ignore any of them.
Right.
Or you're not gonna rank up, or I mean, you're not gonna get your skills up for your character. So, yeah, I'm just kind of like, man, the kind of wondering is it going to be able to carry people through? Is the excitement? Are you going to still enjoy it enough to play through the entire game, or are we going to get burned out? Also, obviously, there's no way that I'm going to finish this game anytime soon. And there's another big title knocking on the door. It's about to drop, and I am going to immediately move over to that as soon as it
Voodoo
hits.
Vince.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, so yeah, and that's gonna again, that's gonna be another, Mass Effect Andromeda hits soon, and it's gonna be another, 40 to 60 hour, maybe more game. So Wildlands could get pushed back for the summertime or after Mass Effect is done, but there's a trick with the helicopters.
No. Okay.
I have discovered. I actually did this kind of by accident. Kind of noticed it. So when you take off, you hold the right trigger to get up. To move up. You push your left stick forward to start moving forward, and of course it puts it into down. If you keep it held that way for a bit, you're going to notice the helicopter will start to kind of drop. It might and sometimes it'll do this little twitchy thing. When it does that, right after it twitches and you're kind of going down, let go of the left stick. And the helicopter will level out and just fly straight forward at the fastest speed possible.
Oh, okay.
Then what you can do is you can use the left stick to push it back to climb and go and move left, right, up, down. And then when you let go, it always levels out and is continuing to fly forward. It can be a little tricky to get it to do that, but it's getting easier the more you do it. So that's one of the tricks with the helicopters. I use a helicopter a lot to get around. Also, what's nice is I've now got my Rebel vehicle drop, which is pretty hysterical. So you drop a vehicle in, right? You hit the thing, and all of a sudden you hear chirp chirp like someone's car alarm, and there's just a car just poof out of the blue air. It's right there, and it's always like behind you. So it's like you turn around and you see the smoke like they dropped it from like they did an airdrop, but it's just there instantly. And you start out with like a crappy car, and then eventually you build up. I had like this armored car with a Gatling gun on it. But now it drops a helicopter, which is awesome. So if you're anywhere and you I just get around strictly with the helicopters. It takes too long to drive. With the crew I've been rolling with, we don't even take the roads. We just go. I mean, we'll take a Cadillac. It's not a Cadillac, but it looks like it. We just take it straight across the roads, over the hills, the rocks. You take it as far as you can get that thing, and then you drop in another vehicle, and you find another one and keep going. It's just a lot of driving in the game. So helicopters are the fastest way to get around. So yeah, that's kind of my recommendation. I've done, I think, 7 or 8 of the bosses. I think I completed my 7th one today. So very time consuming.
Yeah, I found the same thing.
Yeah,
11 hours in is what I've played, and I just completed the first area. 11 hours, and I was a completionist about it. I went through all the missions, but I agree. When I zoomed out that first time and saw all the bosses pop up, I just got overwhelmed. I was like, wait a minute, what? What am I doing here? There's too many of these people.
Yeah,
I don't stand a chance.
When you say first area, are you talking like just the husband wife area, or the first like circle group? That group there with the one of the main bosses in the middle.
Oh, I'm just talking about the husband and wife duo.
Oh,
it
wow,
took me, yeah, and I.
What'd you do? Walk?
Well, and granted, some of it was me being, adventurous with the new game,
right.
and exploring a little bit off in here and wanting to make sure I hit all the side missions up and just seeing what the whole game was about. But yeah, I mean, 11, it was probably somewhere in the neighborhood of 10 because I started exploring into that second area just to the north of that region. I forget what it's called, but where you start going after the guy with all the connections, social connections and whatnot.
Right.
But it's Xbox told me that I've been playing that game for 11 hours, and I think it's counted the pauses too. But and I just feel I just got so overwhelmed with that map, and Wing. I think maybe to your point, where you take helicopters everywhere. I think that almost works against the game, that the map is so huge, because it drives me away from ever wanting to go in and explore the map. It just makes me want to get a helicopter and fly over there real quick and do the mission, rather than actually take my time and drive through and see the world that they've created. Because I think the world is interesting, but by no means am I going to spend the next 20 minutes driving to my next objective.
Don't worry.
Yeah,
Sorry, I was going to say that one spot that you just cleared. I cleared it, and then the place right directly to the right of it, and the two up above it that are kind of like split in that first area. I flew a helicopter around all 3 of those areas to uncover the entire map.
Yeah.
And all I did was fly in a helicopter, and it took me almost 10 minutes to do it.
Oh man.
So I
You
mean,
know,
don't feel bad that you're going to miss the world by not flying in a helicopter, because and the thing is you can look out and see how big it is. And I think I was listening to IGN, and they said so, or no, this was Rebel Radio, Rebel FM. They're saying some person just got to see how high they could fly the helicopter up. And they said they based on like measurements and stuff like that, they're saying that you can fly the helicopter basically what's equivalent to 10 miles.
Oh wow.
So you can fly 10 miles up and then parachute down and stuff.
Man, and you know, I'm all for the open world concept, but I think at some point, at least in video games, kind of what it starts to work against itself in the sense of like, you know, I'm already thinking Mass Effect Andromeda, you know, and I've explored maybe a whole 7% of this world they've created for me to experience, and I'm already kind of going, all right, let's around the bend in 2 weeks here, you know, let's hurry up and finish this one up so that I can get to the next one, you know, kind of a thing. Because you know, and I thought GTA 5 was huge, and this just makes it look like nothing.
Yeah.
You know, by all comparison, but.
Yeah, the world itself is gigantic, and I agree. You hit it right on with saying that I think that the world being so large does work against it, because I was like you when I first started out that first area. I mean, I was running into every building looking for all the stuff you got to tag, which is now becoming like, I hate tagging crap.
Yeah, I know.
And it's even worse because when you're in co-op, you hear your buddies like tagging stuff and it doesn't count for you. You have to walk over there and watch that stupid animation, even though it's just a few seconds. I'm tired of seeing it, man. Let me hit the button and just boom, tag. Why do I have to keep seeing and place the tag?
Definitely.
But I wish they would make it that if your co-op partner tags something, it counted for you. I really, that's a pretty minor annoyance. You know, I mean, really the complaints I have, the game is run really smooth. I mean, we got to look at it this way too. This is an online, really meant to be played multiplayer. You can play it single player if you want, but they really do push you to play together. And I've only had the game crashed once to the desktop, which I don't know if it was the game or the Xbox itself, but that's the only thing I've seen. The game is run very well with no, knock on wood, with no glitches, crashes. Well, except I did fall through a building once. I did have to quit the game because I was under the building. I tried to parachute out of a helicopter and I didn't, and went into the building.
That's stealth level 100.
But the game itself is like running really well, and I got really no complaints about it. So it's like the stuff we are kind of complaining about is pretty minor, but yeah, the repetitious. And now at this point, 27 and a half hours in, I don't really care about checking buildings anymore for tagging resources. I'm just kind of flying around, but I'm still doing every area. When I beat the boss, I do go grab all the Kingslayer files. I get all of the weapon crates, ammo parts. I do run around and make sure I've got every collectible or everything in each area.
Yeah.
And then that's when I just fly around on the chopper, go here, and grab it. So each section. So some kudos on the game. The game looks great. It really does look really nice. It's a beautiful world. I do hate the nighttime. If you are not aware of it, I know on my TV, man, it when it's nighttime, I mean, it's black. I mean, it's like my whole TV. I think sometimes my TV turned off. So you have to use night vision or your thermals. But I tend to run around with night vision all the time as soon as it starts to get dark. I wish the nighttime cycle, or I wish the daytime cycle was a little longer than it is. I really hate running around with night vision on all the time because the game is just really beautiful, and I would like to see it in the daytime. But every section I've gone into, I did hit some snow up in the mountains. I just cleared an area that was mostly water, going island hopping and getting in boats and going into caves under, water caves. And there's some really neat environments. Some of the stuff you can tell they're using the same resources, but when you get to your story missions, so far they seem to be they did a good job on so far. Nothing like duplicating. So I kind of think back with the Division, where the story missions in the Division, everything was like a different environment and it felt different every time you tackled a story mission. It didn't feel like a repetitive. And I kind of feel that way like on this game a little bit with their story missions. Like I feel like I'm going into new environments, or they've got, these silver mines, or you're going into these big mansions or casinos, or there's, all sorts of different settings that you're going into in different environments. That helps to vary it, but all that stuff in between is getting old. And that's, I think, what's going to be like, am I going to take this game to the end? Can I hang in there for 100 hours? Because that's what it feels like it's going to take to complete this game. I mean, I'm almost 30 hours in and only done, I don't think I have a percentage on this page, but if I've done 7 of 27 bosses, I got a long way to go. Maybe, what am I, a third of the way? So we're looking at 90 hours.
Yeah.
So
it's a commitment for sure.
It is. This game's a commitment, which I was not expecting that much. So, but, and also, Brun, I think we both discovered something today about this game has XP boost.
Oh, yeah. Anybody else know that?
I did not know that.
I had no idea. Is it the Kraken pack that I saw? Is that what that is? Is that an XP boost or something like that?
Yeah. So, Carbide posted on our group today. There's a Ghost Recon Wildlands rewards page. So, like before the game come out, they had this stuff. You could do all these activities, like watch YouTube videos and stuff, and you get all these points. And I was like, I wonder what all these are for. And they were giving away like real world, like if you had 10,000 points, you get like a Ghost Recon necklace or something like that they would send to you. But they now have in-game stuff. So like you can get patches, XP booster packs, stuff like that. And I guess that the game, I think, Bron, you were saying that there was, when you went into the game, you had, or you found it, you saw you had an XP booster pack that you didn't even know you had.
Yeah. Do you have your?
Well, that's like me. I've got a bunch from these Kraken and Special Forces packs. I don't even know where to go to activate them.
do you have the game up?
Sorry, not at the moment. I don't.
Yeah. When say if you can't fire it up, I'll fire mine up, but mine will come through the audio.
No, I can fire it up. So
yeah, it's like if you look at your character. I forget which tab it's under, but you'll see like a little menu down to the bottom left, like bottom left or whatever. It'll say like booster packs or boosts or something like that. But yeah, the game's fun. You're talking about like how nice it looks. I was flying in a helicopter and a lightning storm came in, and I almost wanted to land my helicopter because I was scared to fly in a helicopter. Because the lightning looks really good on that game, by the way.
It is gorgeous. I was going to ask you two, do you all find that shooting with the helicopter is a complete nightmare control-wise?
There is no shooting with a helicopter.
Okay, all right, just making sure that wasn't me. Yeah, I those Gatling guns or whatever on the side, I mean, they're just worthless. I can't do anything with them. I've tried over and over, so I gave up on that.
There's no crosshair, and since it doesn't maneuver easily, there's just no way to do it. I've watched people flying helicopters on the PC, and it seems like it's a lot easier. So I would say they might be worth it on the PC, but they're definitely not worth it on console. So unless I'm doing something wrong. Yeah.
I found that playing solo was more the way for me to play that game than playing multiplayer, simply because whenever, like Mark was alluding to, is that when you join up with a bunch of people, you've really got to be in it for the teamwork in order for it to work appropriately. Whereas if I'm playing by myself, I control these 3 other people, and I've upgraded that drone all the way it can go, so I can tag as many people as I want and just sync shot until my heart's content. And then I'll, as soon as I see the little blips go away, I'm like, all right, well, this area is safe to move into now. I'll go ahead and do that. And then every time I played with friends, I was noticing that, because we were doing all our own things, I was dying more often and getting into more trouble than I did playing by myself. So I just went back to playing by myself for a little while to knock out some of the story missions and move through some of the areas that I was having trouble with, which I thought was kind of it's obviously not the way they want you to play because you log in and 30 seconds in, they're asking if you want to join a public co-op
Right.
session. And then
Yeah.
2 seconds later, hey, you want to join a public? Hey, you sure you don't want to play multiplayer? Hey, what about your friends over here? And I found it pretty amusing. And I don't know if you guys have played public or with randoms yet, but if you play with a random and then stop playing with them, or whatever the case may be, you've only played with them for like 30 seconds, there's a little icon that pops up for you to add them to your friend list. And then it says, you've been playing with blah, blah, blah for a while now. Would you like to add them to your friend list? And I'm like, I don't even know who this is. I've been playing for 45 seconds. So I thought that was interesting, that I find it more enjoyable, at least at this point, for me to play by myself because I can control everything, than play with other people. Now, I haven't played with people who are of the same mindset as me, so they want to go do their own thing. I want to do mine, but I think that might be more fun for me at this point. Um, but yeah, the multiplayer for me so far has been somewhat of a bust. I haven't really enjoyed the multiplayer aspect of it quite to the extent that I think other people have. I've actually found myself enjoying solo missions or solo playing. So thought that was kind of not the way they intended for the game to be played at all, but the way I'm doing it because I own the thing.
Right.
So I'm in the game, Bron, and I cannot find anywhere that says turn on a booster pack.
All right, hold on. Let me throw up my game capture software here, and I can mute it actually once it fires up, and then.
Here we go. Okay, so I looked it up.
Okay.
Let's see. So you can go. Okay, so you can gain additional XP by utilizing boosters. You can obtain from pre-ordering the game or through the Ghost Recon Wildlands in-game store. When playing in multiplayer, okay, you can use a booster to increase the XP you gain as well. Blah 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 blah. Well, they don't tell you how to turn it on.
Yeah, here I'll find.
And then it says in multiplayer.
So let my thing fire up here. So I have a Game Capture HD card, and I've been using the Elgato software, and I just play through my computer now. It's really easy. I just plug my Xbox directly into it. So I used to have a whole huge massive setup and had everything connected so I could put it through my audio here and there, and I just took all that out and just use it straight through there now. But for some reason it's trying to connect. And now it's not working. I think XSplit is causing a problem with it.
But, okay, yeah, let's not crash the show.
Yeah, I'll try not to. But, all right. Well,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Here's a link. How do I use my boosters? Let me see if they actually give an answer. You have to. Oh no, they're like, I don't know. When in your menu, you see your avatar on the dune buggy. Highlight your name and press this triangle. So they must be off PS4. And then it says go to booster activation. So it looks like you got to do it before you actually get in the game. So I'll go back to my main menu and I'll see if, because you do load up and you see your guy, and like everybody else is like your AI guys are standing next to a car, and possibly maybe I think that's what they're talking about.
All right. Well, while you're looking for that,
try. You can carry on.
All right. Well, let's move forward. So, Patreon. So if you go to thisxboxlife.com/Patreon, like Draino did here, you become a patron of the show. And if we don't lock any of our content behind anything because, we appreciate any tips and we don't expect anything. But we did put one level in there, like I think it's whatever, 10 a month or something like that. We'll put you on the show, and that's why Draino is sitting here with us here today.
Right.
He pays us for our friendship.
I pay. It's a win-win, the way I see it.
Yep. So and that's more of like a monthly subscription thing like that. If you like to do one-time tips, which Draino actually did as well, he was the last person to send us a tip. You go to thisxboxlife gamertag.com/donate, and that'll send you to our tips page. And roundtable. So we have two quick things, and then we're going to learn about, Preston's, social security card or social security number,
Hold on,
credit
I gotta
card
go grab my
number.
wallet real quick for this part.
Yeah, because
I'll
we
be
need
right
those
back.
3 digits off the back.
Yeah, okay.
So we'll
One,
be
two,
asking him a number of questions. But so Division, I like Division, right? It was a good game. I honestly I think Wildlands is Division on crack, because it's like just a massive division. It's probably 3 times the size as the Division, but it doesn't have things like raids and stuff, and that's kind of the thing I'm looking forward to if they do in Wildlands, is like, to give you this mission to complete, with like just a massive amount of guys, like old Ghost Recon, and we'll see if they do that. But the Division, I had the season pass for the Division. I don't think I played any of it. But they're doing a year 2 worth of stuff, if you believe that. I think a lot of people are surprised, but they obviously have enough people out there, and it is Ubisoft. They did a year 2 with Rainbow Six Siege, and it seemed to take off. So maybe maybe Division will bounce back and move forward. The good news about the Season 2 stuff is it's all going to be free. So if you have the Division, the Year 2 content will all be free.
The thing is, I wouldn't pay him for a second year.
I probably wouldn't have either. I definitely wouldn't have. It has nothing to do with their game or anything. It's just I've moved on. I don't know if I'll ever get back to it.
I just didn't like their DLC, like what the last, what was it? I think they put the last thing out and it was PvP, and before that was survival, and which I liked the idea, but I didn't like it again because it was PvP. And are we still recording?
Yeah.
Okay, that's just me then. So yeah, it's just I didn't like the content that came out in that. So I'm going to be a lot more mindful of what comes out. Like, I didn't buy the Wildlands because it's like one of the things that comes out is like the first DLC drop is like something about races. And I'm like, what? And I'm like, the cars suck.
Yeah.
I don't want to be doing stupid races. But anyways, I'm going to take you off topic for a real quick second.
Mm-hmm.
Back to Wildlands. I found out how to activate your boosters.
Okay.
So when you get to where you're standing next to the car, you got to go down, highlight your name, and hit Y. It says info. Then you see a couple boxes, and one is booster activation. Go in there to activate your boosters.
Okay. So it's before joining a session.
You basically do it before you launch the game.
Yeah, before you launch the game. Okay.
Sorry about that.
Nope.
But yeah, I'm glad they're doing free the second year. I may actually check it out, depending, if they have any actual like single player content or co-op content.
Right. So, the next thing we have here is Reservoir Dogs Bloody Days. What do they have here? Is announced. Actually, so you want to explain this one, Mark, or were you following up on this, or?
I had to put this in here because I don't know. I love the movie Reservoir Dogs.
Oh yes,
no doubt.
I think it's like, even I just think it's one of the best movies out there ever made. I just loved it, and I saw this about a game, and I was like, what? How are you gonna make a Reservoir Dogs a video game? So, in celebration of the 25th anniversary of the movie, the game Bloody Days is slated to launch for PC and Xbox One in 2017. The game will release first on Steam this spring, with Xbox One version to follow sometime thereafter. This is going to be a top-down perspective game where players must strategically rewind time to control a team of characters as they blast their way through a variety of heists based on the movie. The game includes The game features 6 playable characters from the film, including Mr. Blonde, Mr. Brown, Mr. Orange, Mr. Blue, Mr. Pink, and Mr. White. I have no desire to play this. To me, this makes no sense whatsoever. And I mainly just wanted to be like, talk to you guys and just say, what the heck am I missing? Do you get the point of this? And is this something do we really think we need to do? It's just Reservoir Dogs is one of those movies that it's just I think it's so special, so unique that they just don't need to do anything else like this. I think this can only tarnish the name.
Right.
Yeah, it's that's a classic. You don't mess with it. Leave it alone. Don't tarnish its name. And who would you be though, Mark? Mr. White? I'm gonna peg you as Mr. White here.
I gotta be honest. I haven't seen it in so long. I don't remember who is who. But I loved, who's the actor? Tim Roth. His character was just, and also Steve Buscemi.
He was Mr. Pink.
Mr.
I think,
Pink.
right?
That's right. Yeah. Why do I gotta be Mr. Pink?
All right, Brun's Mr. White then. That'll work. I'll be Orange. Wasn't there a Mr. Orange? Wasn't that Quentin? I think so. So you say it's top down. Like when you say top down, I'm picturing like GTA 1 in my head.
Yeah.
Is that what I'm thinking? Is that where we're going with it?
That's what it looks like, a GTA 1 or 2.
Yeah,
it's not straight top down. It looks like it has a little bit of an angle to it, but it would be considered top down.
That has no appeal to me. I have no desire to play that game whatsoever.
You had me pegged as Mr. White?
Yeah, it wasn't Mr. White was the just because of your shirt, really. Isn't it your shirt white?
Yeah, no, he was the good. He was kind of the good guy.
Yeah.
If you will. He wasn't a cop, he was a criminal, but he was like the good criminal who didn't want them to. Yeah, I don't want to spoil the movie. 25 years, I guess we're able to spoil it at this point.
Spoilers, yeah.
Yeah.
If you haven't seen Reservoir Dogs and you are an adult, go check it out. It's awesome. It's awesome. But I loved it. Just there's those moments that what was I watching the other day? It was something similar. But like when Tim Roth and Mr. Orange was telling the story, the fake story of the where he had the drugs on him in the bus station, and all the cops were in the bathroom, and the drug dog was in there. I mean, it was just like this whole story separate from the movie that was just like, it was just so cool. And he just played such a cool part. And I'm trying to remember, I was watching something the other day. I can't remember what it was. And Brun, I may have told you about it. I told somebody about it. Watch it, and then when you get to a certain episode, there's this whole dialogue, like this whole thing that just happens. And it's like one person just going on for like 10, 15 minutes, just basically this, whole dialogue thing. Sneaky Pete.
Yeah, Sneaky Pete.
Amazon. And it was the guy who played Breaking Bad. I can see him, and I can't think of his name. The guy from Breaking Bad, the main character.
Walter Cranston, or what's his name?
Yeah,
Bryan Cranston.
Yeah. So he goes on this whole spiel on just like this whole thing. He had this whole big long part, and it was just like so riveting. It was so good. So I got to recommend Sneaky Pete on Amazon for any Amazon Prime people. Another great show, but that's getting off track. But I just can't see this game needing to be done. A Reservoir Dogs game. Come on. Are we that desperate for ideas?
Yeah, it's a desperate move. It sounds like. And how do you make a Reservoir Dogs game and not have it take place in a warehouse? Yeah. Just one warehouse, the whole thing.
Right.
Be true. If you're gonna do it, be true to it. Figure it out how to be true to the movie. Don't try to make some kind of heist deal where you're all around town or whatever. I guess, but
yeah, it's being made by it says Lionsgate and Big Star Games. So I don't know I don't know if Big Star Games has made anything, so I'll look them up here and just see, or if this is their first game. If this is their first game, I can skip it.
All right. Well, for our next thing here, we since you're a member of the community, Draino, and you're on our show, we want to know a lot about you. So we're gonna move to the community section, and then we're gonna talk to you about you, like I said, and get all that credit card information so we can buy ourselves games.
Very good.
But before we get there, let me go through the spiel here. So if you go to this xboxlife.com, and on the right hand side, you can send us a voicemail. We put those voicemails in the show and play them and answer your questions. You can also, on the top of the site, click contact, which will then have you fill out a form, and that sends us an email. But if you'd rather email us directly or record an MP3 and email us your MP3 instead of going through a voicemail, you can send that to contact@thisxboxlife.com. We also have a Twitter account. It is twitter.com/thisxboxlife, or if you go to thisxboxlife.com/Twitter, it'll take you there as well. And our main area where I think most of our community hangs out and chats and passes out things and codes and hints and tips is on Facebook. If you go to thisxboxlife.com/Facebook, you will be sent to our closed group. Just request access, and then we will go from there. And before we get to that, we will talk about you. I should put a Draino image in there. Didn't have time to get one. So, I have a couple questions here, and of course, these questions will probably spawn more questions and things like that. Now, you've already explained to us how you got your gamer tag, but that is obviously, Xbox Live related or anything like that, or I don't know if that stretches out to your PC gaming world or PS4 or PlayStation or anything like that. But when did you start actually gaming? Like, I remember playing some games on Atari and things like that, but to me, I consider myself like starting in the NES era. But when did you start gaming? What's your earliest memory?
I feel like there's two different points in my life when I was introduced to games, and then when I became what I consider a gamer.
Okay.
But I'll never forget the Christmas opening up to see the SNES was my introduction to the gaming world. My grandfather used to, for a while I'm the first grandkid of many, but I was the first, and so I reaped all the benefits of being the first, with just getting spoiled, rotten for a while there until my sister ruined it for everybody. But no, I'm just kidding. So he bought me an SNES, and I remember, sitting down in front of that television and falling in love with Super Mario Brothers, or Super Mario World, I should say. And being, I don't know, I must have been maybe 5 or 6 years old. You're not really, it's a lot of pretty pictures and it's a lot of buttons to push, so I'm enjoying myself. But I remember being introduced there to gaming and finding it. And, back then it wasn't necessarily taken very seriously. It was just kind of a hobby for a lot of people at that point. And then I would say that the time in which I became for lack of a better way of saying it, kind of in love with the hobby of gaming, was probably right around the Halo 1 era, when the original Xbox came out, and how just incredible, this new gaming machine was going to be. And when I really truly fell in love with it was when Xbox Live came out, and you could finally start playing games online with other people. But I'll never forget the days of taking over my mom's living room with 16 smelly teenagers, and stacking, everybody bringing their huge TV over to find it and placing it on a nightstand that doesn't, it's, one leg is broken. And I had the little router kit that you could buy for Xbox, and everybody plugging in an Ethernet cord and playing Rockets on Hang 'em High. I mean, how many people, and even in the chat room, and you, Brun, and you, Mark, can remember Rockets on Hang 'em High in the original Halo? I mean, that was just epic. beyond words for forever. And but that's when I just immediately just knew that this was going to be something that I did. And nowadays, with games moving into the really truly becoming, and this is not recent, but really becoming an art form, um, with narrative storytelling and interactions with other players and all these worlds for people to explore. It's hard not to fall in love with it and become semi, healthfully addicted to the genre of gaming. But that's kind of where I sit with it. I'm a dedicated Xbox gamer. I don't play on PC mainly because I don't have a PC that really will run. I'm sure it's overheating right now while I'm on Skype. But I don't have a PC, nor have I really decided to dedicate the funds to that because you guys might even laugh at me at this point, but I was a day one adopter of the Xbox One, and the only way I could get my hands on one was to buy a bundle. And so effectively my original Xbox One, which is sitting over here in the corner, and I still use it, was about $850. I'm not proud of it, but now that you can get an Xbox One S for 250 or whatever it is, but so that's where I kind of swung my funds. But always really loved the idea of console gaming because I'm just not very tech savvy, and I like having a machine that I come home and I can put a disc into, and it's going to run like it's expected to run on my machine that I purchased. But um, I did own an original PlayStation when I was growing up because that was before Xbox was even on the scene, and remember playing a few games there then and there. But definitely one of the reasons I am a fanboy to some extent for the Xbox machine, but by no means am I like the guy that annoys everybody with, you got to do Xbox, nothing else. I'm not that guy, but I definitely am dedicated to the machine because it's what brought me into gaming. I love it, and I know Microsoft is not a perfect company by any means, and I'm pretty sure my disk drive is going to just eventually start smoking in my Xbox One at some point. But that's why I've remained. Plus, you have your gamer score, and who wants to start over, right? I mean, once you've got that going, there's no reason to switch over. But yeah, that's definitely for me. I can trace it all back to Hang 'em High with Rockets and the original Halo. For me, that's what did it, in a cooler full of IBC root beer in the bottles, so we could act like we were drinking alcoholic beverages as kids. That's kind of what we did. But yeah, that's just really enjoy it. It's definitely my primary hobby, and so yeah, that's a little bit about it.
So what would you say would be your favorite system then? As far as
favorite system ever, definitely the 360.
Okay.
I logged so many hours onto my 360, and I went through two consoles. A lot of people went through more because of the whole fiasco with those systems, but I was fortunate to only go through two. And the second one that I bought was mainly because I wanted an updated system, not because I necessarily had an issue with it. And the 360 just did it for me. The original Xbox was fun, but I love to achievement hunt, and that's when the 360 came. The 360 brought that aspect of it to us, and I just immediately. By no means am I I'm not a Stallion 83, if you will. I don't have the highest gamer score in Xbox by any means, but I definitely like to try to get all the achievements for most of the games, and that's kind of what draws me back, to games over and over and over again after I've played them. But so
yeah, I wonder how much he regrets doing or starting what he started.
Yeah,
because they just had an article where he passed like what 1.5 million gamer score or something like that.
Yeah. I just at what point I don't even know how you get started in that. My gamer score sits just above 40,000, and I like I said, I play a lot of multiplayer things too, so I'm not always chasing an achievement.
Right.
So it's not necessarily an accurate reflection of how much time I play on the Xbox, but I just think, man, I mean, Brian, I forget what your gamer score is. I saw it the other day and I've forgotten, but
In the
yeah,
30s, I thought.
yeah. So, 30s, and I by no means are you I definitely think that you play quite a bit of Xbox, and Mark, I think Mark has one in the 200,000 range, if I'm not mistaken. But
Yep.
I just think, golly, to get to 1 million in gamer score, just when do you sleep? But
That's too much gaming.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm sitting at over 200,000 is because I got the bug a while back, and
You and Kyle.
yeah, Kyle. I blame Kyle. It's all Cow's fault. He he got involved in that, and then I did, and we were back when we were doing Xbox podcast. I remember, I think one time he was like bragging about his gamer score being higher than mine. Like the next week I passed him, and then it was like we just kind of started doing this thing, and the next thing I know, it just got crazy. I was
yeah,
game flying all the crap games that were giving you easy scores and following guides and just playing crap I never would have ever played. And then I just
yeah,
got so tired of that, and I watched like Kyle do like completely skipping games that he loves, like
Yeah.
franchises he loves, because he knew it was going to take a long time to get the achievements, and he wanted to knock a bunch of other stuff out. And I was just like, and I was doing stuff like that. I was like, you know what? I'm tired of this. Now I still like gamer score. I still will go after stuff. I'll still look at achievements, and I'll try to get stuff if it's a game I really like Sniper Elite 4 recently. I've done probably everything I can in that game, but I looked and I was like, okay, can I do this? Yeah, this is something. And then I'll go and play it and try, and I'll work specifically trying to get an achievement, but I don't like totally focus on it. Like right now with Wildlands, I don't even know what the achievements are. I'm just playing the game.
Yeah.
I kind of like to go through, play it, and if I really enjoy it, then I go back and look and go, okay, well, let me go back and try to get this, or let me try to get that. But yeah, I think it's fun that way. I enjoy that a lot better than doing what Stallion's doing and a bunch of
yeah.
other people.
Well, and I think a game like one that I haven't played a whole lot of, and please don't put me to the stake and burn me here, but Skyrim Special Edition, which I own and I'm working my way through slowly but surely, is I think they do achievements really well in the sense that they don't necessarily force you. It's not about getting all the collectibles. The achievement is for exploring an aspect of the game that the developers wanted you to go to. And so they'll give you an achievement for exploring that area, or I think there's an achievement for like getting married in the game because they want you to explore that element, of it, rather than, hey, did you make sure to hit this, make sure to get this note and make sure to get this audio log here and those are the kind of games that I appreciate, that they really kind of help steer you in directions that the developer wanted to push you in.
I hate collectibles.
Yeah, collectibles are my vein, and the bane of my existence sometimes. But and Dishonored, like playing through Dishonored 2, I'm on like the 8th mission, I think, and I know that that's getting close to the end. But what drives me nuts is very rarely do I use a strategy guide, and I actually still have a collection of paper strategy guides, believe it or not, that I actually prefer sometimes. But you'll play through the game and you miss one collectible, and it scams you out of a 20-point achievement. You're like, oh, I'm never playing this again. Well, there goes that one. I don't even care anymore. But so yeah, let's. I definitely really enjoy achievement hunting, but also the multiplayer aspect of games, and the I think my number one, what makes a great game for me, throw out graphics, throw out frame rates, all of that stuff. It doesn't necessarily matter to me. Is I love involved narratives. I love not knowing what's coming next. I love the storytelling part of the game, and that's why sometimes I lean towards like a Dishonored 2 over other types of games, because it is about immersing you in this post or alternate 1800s universe and that kind of a thing. But I've noticed recently as I'm getting older, I'll be 32 this year, that I have a really hard time with massive RPGs, and I think you guys can relate to that to some extent, is they're just too much of a time sink anymore. And I want to experience, like, I want to play Skyrim. I want to experience it. I want to be involved in it, but I just can't seem to get 285 hours of my life set aside to really enjoy this game, and so I lean towards more linear type games, games that have a start and a finish to the levels, and I actually really enjoy those types of games. I think sometimes it seems to me anyway, that we've gone kind of open world crazy.
Yeah.
And it gets harder and harder to find those games unless it's an indie game, which nothing against indie developers, but I've yet to really find one that I've just thought, wow, that's an incredible game. I'm always like, yeah, it's novel. Okay, I'll move on from that. But always been more of a narrative-driven type gamer, like playing through levels, linear type gameplay. So
Yeah, it's funny. Like there was like, oh yeah, I think I'm in the 30,000 range or something. Like, yeah, I have 48,000. Like, I have no idea what I even have as off. And I stopped going after achievements a long time ago because it was to that point where it was like, I'm not playing this other game that I've been wanting to play because here I am trying to find this or trying to find that. Like there's some like when it's just as you're playing the game and you're getting the achievements as you play, those are the ones I like. But even then, it's just like, oh, hey, I just got an achievement, things like that. Like if you go and look at my like Battlefield 4, I think I pretty much played Battlefield 4 on PC and Xbox One, and Diablo were like two games I played for almost an entire year. Enough to where I was 122 on Battlefield 4 on PC and 104 on Xbox One. It's just like that was a game that I played. Go look at the hours I have, and that's like 300 something hours,
yeah.
in Battlefield, and 10 achievements. It's like
Yeah.
That means the achievements mean nothing as far as gameplay or thinking.
Well, it's important to me as a career-driven 32-year-old to have a game that I can sit at home at night and play for an hour or 30, 40 minutes and feel like I've done something. Because, games, and that's why Battlefield is so, enticing to me, because I can sit down and play a match and rank up a level and unlock a new weapon or whatever it is and be good. But, the last time I played Skyrim, which was, a month ago, it was like an hour and 45 minutes before I had even like made the first checkpoint of some sort of mission that I was on, and I'd forgotten even what was going on by the time I was halfway through the mission, and now I'm just killing things to kill things, and hopefully this is over soon, because
Right.
I've got stuff to go do. But it's yeah, I definitely struggle with the idea that I want to play everything and I want to be able to try out everything, like Ghost Recon. That was a rental for me. I rented that because I had a feeling that it may not be my type of game. And turns out I'm probably right that it's not my type of game. But I definitely rented that because I just knew, I was like, if I purchase this is like you guys made mention of earlier, 100-something-hour game minimum. And that's if you don't sightsee throughout the game. And I'm already logged into Skyrim, Dishonored, Battlefield. What else do I have over here? I still play Star Wars Battlefront occasionally. I know that game's outdated,
Yeah.
but
So 2016.
yeah, so
Yeah.
2016. I can't even. You know why I play Battlefront still is I have a buddy who that's all he plays, and when you can team up with a buddy to play a game like that, it's still fun. Um, but when you play it by yourself, by this point, you're just like, what am I doing? And is this match over already? But so definitely struggle with the idea of wanting to play all the games and then having to realize that, hey, this is probably not my type. When I was younger and had a lot more free time on my hands, I would definitely have the opportunity to play everything that came out. And now I struggle with the concept of, let's play this game and this game and this game, and then let's try and actually manage our our expectations here, because if I used to get into a really bad habit where I'd have 10 games going on at once and not getting anything out of any of them because I was playing too many at once, um, and then I just was playing to beat them so that I could say I beat them, and that was it. But no, um, so I definitely slowed down in my older age. No, I'm just kidding.
They're talking about age in the chat, so don't get too into age.
Yeah. A lot of us got you beat.
I know. But that's what that's honestly, I love that about this community that you guys have created, because I felt kind of alone for quite some time, as even at my age, considering gaming one of my pretty much my primary hobby. I felt kind of out there on an island on my own, and I really do. I like this community for that reason. So.
Yeah, that's the thing with Xbox. Once your voice deepens, you have to find another community because you just don't fit in on live.
I know, you really don't. It's party chat or bust from there on out.
Yeah.
Oh man, but
well,
yeah. So
with 360 being your favorite system, and you've mentioned a lot of Halo. I'm gonna ask what your favorite game is, but I could be completely wrong. But I'm gonna say it's a Halo game. But we'll let you say what's your favorite game ever. It doesn't have to be.
Believe it or not, and I would like to see what chat has to say about it, and you guys as well, is BioShock Infinite. My favorite game, 100, hands down, 100%. The narrative storytelling of that game and the mechanics, the gameplay, the levels, the aesthetically pleasing levels. And one thing really hit me with that game is I did not see the ending coming. And I can't say that about a whole lot of games. And but then you're right, Brun. Halo's number 2 by far. Played, and Halo, I gotta say, love it or hate it, Halo 5 was kind of a bust for me. I enjoyed it to some degree, but definitely BioShock Infinite. I've played that game 3 or 4 times, and every single time I catch something new. It's kind of like watching your favorite movie over and over and noticing a new thing every single time. And just not a lot of games ever did that for me. I've enjoyed a lot of games, no doubt. I had a lot of fun memories playing games, but BioShock Infinite stands out for sure, no doubt. So.
And I haven't played Infinite.
Oh man,
it's a good game.
Yeah, I've never played that. And with Halo, it's
I enjoyed hanging off those rails or whatever.
Oh yeah,
like slinging around those things. And then, if I recall, it's been a long time, but couldn't you slow down time? You come down and then you're like just shooting all those guys. That was so much fun.
Well, and Brun, have you played it at all, or have you gotten like a little bit ways into it? Or
no,
anything?
I've never played it at all.
Okay, I won't. I'll refrain from using too many spoilers, because I definitely think you should play it. One of my definitely.
I'll put that right after Mass Effect 3.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, exactly.
So you'll get to it around July.
Yeah, 2020.
Yeah, 2020. Yeah, I know. One of the coolest things about BioShock Infinite is they give you a companion about a third of the way into the game, and they make it very clear to you that your companion does not need any help from you. They will be just fine, and in fact, they end up helping you out more than anything. And I just thought that concept in today's gaming is just like, please, no more carry the unconscious guy through the level missions. I hate those kind of missions, which is what Dishonored's kind of made me do once or twice, and I have some beefs with it. But that game, they just really nailed it. And I don't know, and I liked BioShock 1, and BioShock 2 was all right, but definitely BioShock Infinite, without a doubt. So, and whenever you do get around to that backlog, Brun, it'll be a while, I'm sure, but definitely throw that one in there and give it a try. So,
yeah, with Halo, I play Halo games for the single player story, and Halo 5 was, I still had fun with it, but it was kind of fell a little short. Not as short as what I think a lot of people. There's a lot of diehards that are just very upset about it, which they can be. But it is probably by far the best version of Halo multiplayer ever. Like, it is crazy good. And I've played it some, but for the people that are diehard Halo multiplayer fans, like, they cannot they speak so highly of Halo 5 and its multiplayer. So.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. And I almost threw the multiplayer to the side and never even picked it up. And fortunately, I had a friend come visit me out here, and we actually, it was the middle of the summer, which, if you know anything about Colorado summers, it's the best time to be here. And we sat out on the front porch with my little TV. That's our version of being outside, right? And we hooked up the Xbox, and he was like, man, you got to give the multiplayer a try. So we played SWAT multiplayer in Halo for, it must have been 5 and 6 and 7 hour stretches back and forth passing the controller. And that multiplayer, and the matchmaking is perfect. The load times are really good. They nailed that for sure. I definitely had quite a bit of fun with the Halo 5 multiplayer. But I agree with you. The story definitely kind of fell flat there especially at the end. But
all right, favorite genre?
Favorite genre? I'm gonna say the action adventure genre, the Tomb Raiders of the world.
Okay.
I love Tomb Raiders. They are. Those are some of the games that I will buy on day one and finish on day two, because I just get so into those games. And even this last Tomb Raider, man, that was a heck of a game that I enjoyed thoroughly, for sure. Really wish, not to get off the Xbox topic, but I really wish, if Naughty Dog is listening, please, Uncharted, bring it over. I'm okay with that.
Second that, third that, 800 that.
That's the only game that's ever enticed me. Well, I can't say that. The Last of Us and Uncharted are the only two games that I've ever thought, maybe I can get a secondhand PlayStation and try it out. But
yeah, I was just going to say is like there's nothing wrong with going and buying a PlayStation, and definitely with those games if you want to play those on Last of Us. But internet's going crazy. I mean, a lot of the internet's going crazy about
Horizon.
Everybody's going nuts about Zelda right now, but
It's
Horizon Zero Dawn, I have three guys at work that are playing it. They are loving
Mhm.
it. They said it is a fantastic game, and a lot of the Colin Moriarty's and I know they lean PlayStation or whatever. What's that?
Yeah.
Mr. Imes.
Yeah. So, but
Totally awkward is can't stop posting about it every day.
Yeah.
He loves it.
Yeah, but I mean, it's just like you hear things like that, and as gamers like we are, it's just like, oh man, do I have enough money in my budget for PlayStation 4? Because
that's where they lose me is, I'd have to justify buying a PlayStation 4 so that I could play 2, maybe 3 games. And I just can't rationalize that in my head. And I actually had a friend that made a great point the other day about Zelda. And he said, you know what Zelda is for most of us? Zelda is a $350 game.
Right.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, here's an easy justification. It is easier to justify buying a PlayStation for exclusives than it is and have it as your machine to play platform exclusives, and then using your Xbox to play everything else, than it is vice versa. Because there's very little exclusives when it comes to Xbox. I mean, you have your Halos and your Gears.
Reservoir Dogs, man.
Yeah.
That's not coming to PlayStation, baby. I was gonna say that when we talked about it. I was gonna be like, Xbox exclusive.
Yeah. I mean, you have Halo.
Xbox.
Yeah, you have Halo.
Suck it, Sony.
Yeah. Halo, Gears, Crackdown. You got your Forzas. I mean, there are exclusives in Microsoft. But what Microsoft has that Sony doesn't have is Xbox Live. And I mean, it's by far the best. So it is easier to justify buying a PlayStation for those exclusives, and that is right now, because the one thing that I am reading is when is Microsoft going to have exclusives like PlayStation has now? And I'm just like, listen here, has now 3 years into the system's life. Because finally your exclusives are coming out doesn't mean that you get to turn around and be like, oh, why isn't Mike? It's like, well, it's because they've been releasing them for the last 3 years.
Yeah.
And you haven't. So, but that is something to, there's a little bit of help justification there for you. So, and I want to play Detroit. I mean, that game, I'm still floored by that game at E3. So
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to E3 this year. There's a lot of good reveals, I think, coming out. Um, and I'm really, I think that Xbox, didn't they move their press conference up a day? Do I
yeah,
read
it's
that correctly?
Sunday.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sunday.
Yeah. So, which of course is a day I work. So, which is a bummer, but I'll make sure to stream it at work for sure. But I think they did it right. I think that, um, with I think they've got some really cool stuff up their sleeve from what I'm understanding, and all the hype. And who knows, we could just be building ourselves up again on the hype train, and then it's a remastered Crackdown 2, and we're all going, oh, perfect. But I think that they're going to be pretty. I think they're going to hit it on the nail this year. I think Phil Spencer. I think I've been a fan of Phil Spencer since he took over, and I think he's got us on the right train, on the right track for sure. So, looking forward to it for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I really do like Phil Spencer too, and I know we've talked Scorpio and things like that. I'm the more I sit down and think about it, regardless of whatever the price is, $2.99. Regardless of what it's going to be, there are a lot of people out there that are saying like, well, just releasing a new console, they're going back and they're looking at PlayStation 4 Pro, and you can't compare the Pro in the Scorpio. Like, I don't think they're
No.
comparable.
Apples and oranges for sure.
Yeah,
Apples
it definitely is. But if people are looking back and they're like, well, look, PlayStation 4 Pro really isn't selling that much.
Yeah.
Well, it's because they sold a ton of PlayStation 4s, but
Yeah.
it's because there's nothing that the Pro does that the other ones don't do, besides the 4K and basically the 4K. So a lot of people are just like, well, we're wondering what Microsoft's going to do, because is just saying, here's a new console, it does everything these other ones do, is that a good thing or not? And it's something to really think about, and so to figure that out.
I hope that obviously they've learned from their mistakes with the Xbox One, and I find it funny that the things that the Xbox One originally promised, with when all that hate, the big hate storm came out against it, people are starting to now come around to things like the digital only game sharing, things like that. I mean, a lot of us, I'm about, I buy digitally about 60%, and then I buy physical about 40. I buy the physical games I buy are the ones I'm not sure if I'm going to like, because I like to be able to have some trade-in value, whether that be a lot or nothing. It's still something that I could go back and trade in if I'm not happy with the game. But,
right.
But
yeah, I can't trade in friggin' Shadows of Mordor. Piece of garbage is still sitting on my hard drive.
I know, and the bad part about it is when you buy them digitally, you don't want to, you never want to delete it because you spent money on it.
Right? Yeah, it's still sitting on my hard drive.
Yeah. I know that feeling pretty well.
But I will not buy Shadow of War, so I've learned my lesson. I just don't know, and I can't call it a piece of garbage because I know people loved it. It just didn't work for me for some reason. And I tried that game twice. I even restarted it. Like, I must have missed something in the beginning because I'm just not getting this. But so yeah, I think that's one of. I bought something else recently too that I kind of regretted, and I can't remember what it was. But yeah, that's
Hitman.
I guess the one downside. What was it?
Hitman.
Oh yeah, Hitman. Yep.
You didn't care for that, huh, Mark?
I loved Hitman Absolution, and I was looking forward to this, but I waited until I got the whole game for like 50% off. I was like, sweet, jumped on it. I never was able to get past the training mission.
Oh, that's right. I remember that. I remember you talking about that.
I kept trying it. Because it's like, I want to. I know I like this game. I don't know. So it's me. It's not the game.
Yeah.
It's just me. So.
Well, there's always going to be a couple of games that everybody loves that we can't seem to get. Fallout 4 I know Fallout 4's got some love and hate on both sides, really, but I just thought Fallout 4 was just the biggest waste of time I've ever spent in a video game. I just could not do it. I could not bring myself to play that game. and that's a $60 purchase on my hard drive right now. If I could send it out to somebody, I would. But yeah, so and I wanted to say this too because I know that it's been in the news lately. But with regard to Nintendo, I'm going to go out on a limb here and just say I'm no longer a Nintendo fan. Nintendo will always hold a special place in my heart. They really will. But I think they have gone. The Switch does not appeal to me any form or fashion. Zelda's the only thing that, of course, anybody who games would want to play. But there, I mean, if you've watched any of the Twitch streams with like 1-2 Switch, if that's not just the biggest gimmick, I mean, to me, there is absolutely no value in a Switch. It doesn't even meet, today's tech standards. It's a brand new console, and they have one game that everybody's going to want to play. And I think what we should do is just create, everybody pitch in. We buy an Xbox Live Nintendo Switch, and we just mail it around the country so everybody can have their chance of Zelda. And I'll go first, of course, but.
Well, somebody's saying they're working on a PC version of it.
Oh, really?
That's what I saw.
That'd be a big deal.
Oh yeah.
But I truly feel that Nintendo has lost connection to at least you. I don't know what's going on in Japan. Maybe in Japan they're spot on. They have their thumb on the market, but
it's not selling well there either.
Yeah,
and I just saw. I think it was somebody posted their friend code. Like SW, it's like they had. I was like, I thought they got past this. I thought they had a Nintendo ID. Like this, 10 years. It's been 10 years and they still can't get it right.
I know.
How do you? If Microsoft, if Microsoft or Sony would do that, they would be mopped up and down the floor, saying, "Oh, they're worthless. Oh, they can't even do that." But since it's Nintendo, it's like, "Oh, well, it's okay. They made Zelda." Yeah, and we'll have a Mario game to play, and I'm just like, are you serious? I mean,
they get this free pass, and everybody, and I don't mean to. If people have the Switch and they love it, more power to them. By no means am I trying to, be negative towards them at all. I think that they get this free pass. I mean, that Switch press conference, I watched that and thinking, what in the world am I watching? What is this?
Oh, it was.
Yeah,
garbage, man.
I will say the hardware in my mind, because I'm a techie guy, I am still interested in the hardware. My kids want one, and that's the thing. But that's not what bothers me. The thing about like not being able to pull your saves off a Switch, like if you have 2 Switches in your house, like you can't share. Pick up one and do saves. Like if your Switch blows up, like you lose all your stuff. Yeah. I mean, it's just like, why can't they get that right? I have no clue why they can't. And you're talking about the 1-2 Switch, like the cow milking game. I'm just like, there's just people like lifting their hand up and down the cow milking game, and I'm just like, what's the sequel going to be?
I know, right?
Who can milk the bull quicker?
I gotta know the one about the soda shaker or something. I was watching IGN, and it was 2 different people. There was Alana Pierce and the dude with the beard. He's on Unlocked a lot, most of the time. I just can't remember his name. I'm drawing a blank, but he was laughing. I mean, he couldn't control. He was having because she's sitting there shaking this thing, and they're going back and forth like the object is. Can you shake the carbonated soda without it exploding? And you just watch what they're doing, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I don't want my kids doing that.
No.
Yeah.
Same with the milking, and it's like, look at what they're doing. It's no. Yeah, they do get a pass. It's just like Sony gets a pass too. Yeah. Sony released the PlayStation 4, which really was like 3.5. There was really nothing new there. And everybody's like, gives them a pass. And when I was telling Horrible Gamers the other day, because Ryan Gibson he bought a Switch and he was talking about it. And but I was like, everybody's talking about how oh, Xbox sucks because they can't get 1080p graphics, and I can get 1080p on a PS4, and I can only get like 900 on a Xbox, so it sucks. The friggin' Nintendo can only do like 720, and everybody's like raving about how great it looks. I'm
I
like, this doesn't
know.
make any sense.
I know.
You
All of a
know,
sudden, all those standards, nobody cares about
Mhm.
it
anymore, and
goes
you're
right out the window. Yeah. So it's like, we're gonna have the 4K, the best, baddest Scorpio, best, baddest console on the market on the planet coming out this year, and everybody's gonna be like, oh, it sucks, but freaking Zelda looks awesome at
I know.
720p. Who
Well,
needs 4K all of a sudden? It's like,
I
oh,
know.
come on.
Yeah, I would. What it's basically a 3DS advanced. That's the way I look at Nintendo Switch.
Yeah.
And do I like the idea of if I think that if they had marketed this Nintendo Switch as a strictly portable gaming device, I think I might have been on board with it.
Yeah, they're
But they try to pass it off as a home console, and really, it's Zelda that's their big winner. And beyond that, I don't see anything. So
yeah, they're going to iterate on it because there's some issues. They got some things to fix before the holiday rolls around, I think. And that's kind of what I'm waiting on to see what they're going to do with their software and do some reiteration on their hardware. But the 3DS and stuff, that you might as well. They're gonna shut that down. Like the Switch is going to be their one thing.
yeah,
And I don't blame them for doing that. I think like I said, it's like I want the iteration. I want it to become something because I think it's really cool and or has a chance to be really cool. But what you hear now and stuff, and people were giving me a hard time because I'm just like, no, I won't buy one right now because of this and this and this, and they just give me a hard time. And somebody at work had one during lunch yesterday on Friday. They're like, Brun, you can't come over here and see this. We already know what you think about it. And I'm just like, I'm not lying to you. It's
yeah,
like I'm telling you the truth. So,
yeah.
so
Well, improve the battery life. I travel probably 10 times a year around the country, and to me, having something like that might be something at a later point I might get into. But the idea of trying to sell me this Nintendo Switch as a home console that would ever be of any interest to me beyond Zelda, I just don't see. Because I've never been into the anime scene. I've never. Um, uh, that doesn't appeal to me. So for that's why I've always kind of steered away from the Japanese companies, Sony and Nintendo, because a lot of those games that they put on their systems are kind of that anime style esque. I have a rule of thumb, and that is if you hit something in the game and numbers flash everywhere, I generally stay away from it. It's usually not my type of game, but and those type of games are like that a lot. So, but I'm going to start the wave. I decided that I'm just no longer a Nintendo fan. They just don't appeal to me. I'm obviously either not their market, or they're missing the mark completely. So I'm throwing it out there into the universe.
well, is there anything else you want to chat about? What are you looking forward to? What game are you really looking forward to? Let's say
Um,
let's pass the month of March. We know Mass Effect's coming, and
mhm.
what are you looking forward to like later this year, or that you hope comes out later this year?
Well, I hope it comes out this year, and they haven't let me down so far. But Red Dead Redemption 2
Oh, okay.
will be on my list, and I've kind of made a commitment to myself to go through the backlog this year a little bit. So I'm kind of being slow about purchases. Um, like I've got what do I have to play through? Dead Space 2 and 3. At some point, I'm going to really try to crack down and get through those games through in April. But Mass Effect's going to throw a wrench into those plans pretty quickly. Um, but Red Dead Redemption 2 by far, Rockstar, I think just, I know a lot of their games are pretty controversial one way or the other, but I think that they just the production value in their games is second to none. They deliver when GTA Online, I know was a big mishap, but GTA 5, I think, was a pretty remarkable achievement, especially on the 360. And Red Dead Redemption 2, I'm sure, will just surpass everybody's expectations. They haven't let us down yet, so really looking forward to that one. And I think that one's slated for what, November of this year or something along those lines.
Yeah, somewhere around there. I was wondering if
Yeah.
you'd say Crackdown, but we're just waiting on it getting canceled.
Yeah,
Am I right,
Crackdown
Mark?
3. What's that? How do you say it again? Crackdown?
Yeah.
Crackdown? Is that?
It will not be canceled.
It won't be.
Dude, if it does, I'm gonna sell my friggin' thing and go buy a PS4 Pro.
Uh, Crackdown 3 looks impressive with the destructible environments. I've watched a few clips on that stuff, and if they pull that off, that's gonna be pretty cool, I think.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
But yeah, I think Red Dead Redemption 2 is my big one that I'm waiting for later this year. And of course, E3 is going to probably bring some things into light for me, some things that maybe I had overlooked at some point. Um, but that's pretty much where I'm at with that. I'm going to really try to, like I said, move through my backlog at some point this year because it's getting to the point now where, especially with Game Pass about to come out at some point, I've got to really um, find a way to manage the games that I've already purchased, so that I can further justify purchases to my wife later on. Yes, I will. Yes, I do play these games. See,
Yeah.
kind of a deal.
Yeah.
But,
All right.
yeah.
Well, let's. Mark, do you want to go over what's coming out this week? We're going to have to wrap up here soon so we don't hit our cap.
All right, so coming out on Xbox One, Styx, Shards of Darkness. Also, Death Squared. If you have EA Access, there's this little indie title coming out on the 16th called Mass Effect Andromeda. I'm not really sure what that's about. Dark Arcana, The Carnival. It's coming out on the 17th, along with Kona, Nero Voider, and Momodora Reverie Under the Moonlight.
Yeah, I have no idea on that one.
So, just as a note, Mass Effect Andromeda. So, if you have EA Access, they're giving you basically the game actually comes out on the 21st. So you're getting a couple, 4 or 5 days early access, but they're only giving you 10 hours of early access. And the storyline, you will not be able to play 10 hours of the storyline. They are locking it down. They did not state, and I have not seen how much of the story you can play before release date. But you're probably only going to be able to play like the first mission or something like that would be my guess. But you will not be able to play 10 hours of the story, they said. So you're going to have to do other stuff. So myself, I'm going to just wait till Monday, 9 p.m. The following week when it comes out for everybody. Because I know getting into that story, I want to play the story.
Yeah, good point.
All right. Then
go ahead.
Games with Gold from, what are we, March 12th. So you've got 3 more days to get Project Cars for free. Then Layers of Fear is available right now. And then on the 16th, Project Cars goes away and Evolve will be available for you. And then on backwards compatibility for the 360 Borderlands 2, you've got till the 15th to get that. And then Heavy Weapon will become available on the 16th for the last 2 weeks of the month. That's it.
All right. If anybody does any shopping on Amazon, if you go to thisxboxlife.com/Amazon, or go to thisxboxlife.com and click on the Amazon, you'll be directed to Amazon itself and your, locale, if you want to say. And if anything you purchase on there, we get a little percentage. It comes to us. You don't pay anything extra, but it does support the show. And Rob always likes to remind people to go to iTunes and review us as high as possible. That helps us get noticed in the iTunes store. But I think that's it for that. Draino.
Did I miss it, or did you not ask the question?
Which question?
The question we always ask the guest.
Oh, I haven't asked. Well, I can ask right now. So
I was just kind of surprised you didn't ask.
yeah. Well, I thought we already knew what it was. Okay.
I don't know if we know.
Draino, we always like to ask guests that we have on our show who listens to the show, and we always like to ask that one question of who is your favorite host, because we like to put you on the spot to see what you say. And there is a right answer and there are wrong answers. So what do you got as Mark looks angrily at your way?
No.
I will say this is that, Brun, I enjoy your commentary thoroughly. I would have to say that I enjoy listening to you talk. Mark, that being said, I think that you and Mark, Brun, you and Mark are one heck of a team together. Rob, I love you, but I wish you talked a little more throughout the show. Gave your input because when you do, I like it. But yeah, I think Brun, you're my go-to guy, and I really appreciate you wishing for the Scorpio to be 299. I think that is a wishful thinking, maybe, but I think we'll that definitely is a win in my book. So, but I really appreciate all of you guys, and I really enjoy it. Mark, I love listening to you comment on things, and same goes to you, Brun. So, just a great show all around. I like it a lot.
I like every time I say 299, and Mark always replies with "in your dreams," and to that response, my response is always like, "Yeah." So, like, yes, it is. Okay, so that's my answer every time I say 299. Everybody's like, it's not going to be 299. I'm like, 279, and they're like, you're going the wrong way. I was like, well, then stop asking me, because here before long it's going to be free.
No, and in all honesty, you guys are great. There's really no favoritism at all on my part. I think that you guys really hit it on the nail, and once again, I like it being a part of the community for sure. So, and thanks for having me. I've enjoyed it. I know we've probably almost hit the cap, but thank you again for having me, and I definitely look forward to supporting the show as best I can from here on out.
Oh, we appreciate
for
the support.
For as long as you three decide to do it, I'll be here supporting you as long as my wife doesn't look at the bank account.
Yeah.
No, I'm just kidding.
Well, we're aiming for at least 428 episodes before we throw in the towel. So.
Okay. All right. Well, good deal. Good deal. I'll have to remember my Patreon login here in a minute, but. So I definitely look forward to listening to the shows future to come. And Mark, you and I have yet to play on Xbox Live some game together. I'm sure that'll come around soon. So I'll make sure to hit you up as soon as you and I own the copy of some same game.
Well, he has Battlefield. He has Battlefield 1.
No, I don't.
Oh, well, Wildlands was a rental for me, so I'll have to go back to Redbox. I'm by no way paid by them, by the way. But
well, you're getting Mass Effect, right?
Yeah, I'll have Mass Effect, and that is going to be so. I'll make sure to hit you up for some co-op on that.
Yeah, because I think they're also I don't know if the stories co-op. I don't remember what they said, but there is multiplayer, and I loved multiplayer in Mass Effect 3.
Yes.
Yeah.
That was fun. So I just hope you don't use. I know they're going to. I just don't. I'm worried about getting sucked back into the buying those freaking Spartan packs or whatever they were called.
Yeah.
I spent so much money on those. Awesome. Well,
yeah, I'm definitely going. I think they did away with the system altogether, but I'm definitely going to go Renegade throughout Mass Effect from Andromeda. So I'm going to make my own system and decide to go that way. Well, so.
All right. Well, thanks again for jumping on the show. We appreciate having you and your support. So, and
absolutely.
For everybody else out there, we will catch you all next week. So with that, I am Brun BJ Swick 33.
Mark AK Wingman 709 taking off.
And I'm Draino 85. Have a good night.